welcome back to another video. Obviously, I'm back with Tom from the last video that you saw where we ate a lot of sides. This video is literally, we've got KSI versus Swarmz in about 2-3 days time. I'm going to the fight. You were supposed to be coming, but you have plans now, don't you?
I know, 27th, isn't it? Got a wedding, unfortunately, which I could not get out of, so... But...
Are you sure?
Still never too late, is it?
So, it's not your wedding, which you can...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to quickly run through the two main events on the fight, which is Deji Fousey, and obviously JJ was supposed to be fighting Wasabi, but is now fighting Swarmz due to Wasabi dropping out due to a concussion.
Yep.
Which I don't believe.
No, there's always been thoughts about it being Jake's team. Apparently, I've heard something, they've offered him like a 2 or 3 contract fight.
Yeah.
Something like that, which is why he's dropped out of it for...
Well,
makes sense longevity for him, doesn't it? Plus, he probably wasn't as red as he thought he was going to be, but...
Yeah, that face-to-face on...
he was nervous,
Wade,
wasn't he? He was nervous.
I wasn't sure if he was nervous or just like not taking in what JJ was saying.
He's an interesting character, isn't he? Because there was no malice in the way he was talking. He wasn't arrogant. He wasn't over himself. He was literally just grateful for the opportunity, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And you've got... I'm in two minds over the thought of it. It's like, one, yes, I get it. Was he acting up to the plan to be that sort of individual? 2, was he absolutely bricking it? Or 3, like, was he doing it to rile him up even more? Do you know what I mean? Because there are times where someone takes that tone, and when someone's a bit rattled, it rattles them a lot more. Like,
yeah, it's like I think with him not playing into JJ's game made JJ overreact a lot. 100%. And a lot of people read into that a lot more than.
Did you see his Reddit React video where there's a few sus things that came out of his mouth saying it as well?
Yeah. But yeah, so first of all, we'll talk about the first of those 2 fights. We'll talk about Fousey versus Deji. Deji's still yet to win any sort of fight, sadly.
Yep.
The last fight he put in was poor. The fight before that was not great. Obviously, his last actual fight he lost to Wasabi.
Yes. Yep.
And now he's fighting Fousey, who it was 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago, but there was a video of Wasabi getting dropped by Fousey.
Yep.
With 16-ounce gloves, I think it was, and with a head guard.
Yeah, but you also need to think when he went into that fight with Slim after this knockout.
Yeah.
He was used as a punching bag, wasn't he? He had no guard. His head was getting pumped on it, like. And he sat there, but he has said, he's openly said he's a changed man. He's not going, he's dressed. But have you seen how bloody ripped he is now?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he does.
He's shredded.
He looks good, and that's the thing. I don't want to go against Team UK in this sort of like what was seen to be like a Team UK versus Team USA with the same with the Jake Deji and Logan JJ thing. But for me, I can only see Fousey winning this quite comfortably.
The thing is Deji's had 3 fights now, and he's not really showcased a lot in any of them. No. There's been so much hype over him, and obviously JJ always says, "Oh yeah, he's going to be good. He could be better than me. He could do this," but he just keeps underperforming. He's been so quiet though. There's not been a loss of his footage out there. No. Obviously, he released that really good like coming back to the boxing piece and stuff like that. But you do kind of sit there and think, when will we see the actual Deji if he's supposed to be evolving into something, he's supposed to be coming into something? Like, again, he's saying he loves the sport now, so is he actually just doing it because he likes fighting? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And the thing is, again, with those two, is very amicable in terms of they were both just very nice all, no real hatred. Yeah. Like, I think it was Wade was trying to get some drama out of it, and
you could see he was trying to, but it just wasn't happening. But the thing with me is why I think Fousey will win this, and probably quite comfortably. Like, I could see it being an early stoppage because of Deji's best fight was against Jake in 2017.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Right. It's 2022. This guy has taken a knee during the fight because after a stoppage in a fight, round stoppage. Came in 20 seconds in, took a knee to take a breather in the fight. Wasn't prepared properly. Then he went in against Wasabi and was basically Wasabi's punching bag that whole night.
Yep.
Like to the point where Wasabi was waving at fans, dancing, sort of like taking the mick.
Having fun, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
And even before then, he kept on doing this "I'm gonna shock the world" tweet, or "I'm a changed man. I'm gonna do this now for."
Yeah, but this one he has kept quiet.
Yeah.
Like completely. Like you see the odd thing pop up here and there, but he's lost that arrogance now. And I think there's, as much as he's under pressure to get a win now, isn't he?
Yeah, massively.
He's the only one who just keeps going for it and losing, and it's never like he's not on the top 3 of the undercard, is he? Like he's always one of the bigger fights out there, so there's a lot of pressure on him. But again, is he trying to downplay that and say there's no pressure on him because he just wants to fight, he wants to enjoy it? Now, does he think if he enjoys it, he's going to perform better, or is it just all a facade? Like, do you know what I mean? Is he playing up to it? I personally hope he comes out and absolutely like shocks us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just again the UK bit, obviously following for ages and whatnot, but it's just a case of, I think we've had that expectation each fight of he's stepping up again. His opponents haven't necessarily got better, have they?
No. Like it's really weird to think he was the person that's given Jake Paul the best fight out of the YouTube lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was saying, if that...
Sorry, I was just flashback to Gibb, but...
Oh, Gibb. Big Gibber. Big Gibber. I'd love to have seen Gibb fight on this card, but obviously McBroom's running, ducking and diving.
Yeah,
fucking Gibbs away.
No, that's another topic, isn't it? But...
Yeah. I just want to see Gibb fight. I just love it. He's just so energetic, man.
There, isn't he?
But yeah, back to Deji. He was good that fight, and I think the towel got thrown in that night because he just didn't have the energy, the stamina. And we look at it. If he'd had the stamina, he beats Jake that day. Everyone says it. Like he beats Jake that day, and the world would have been a lot better place.
Yeah. Now you've got effectively Logan's fallen below Jake in that stomping ground of boxing in YouTube scene, hasn't it?
Well, let's even face it. Like we'll just change the subject very quickly on to Jake.
Yeah.
He was supposed to fight Rahman. Rahman didn't meet the weight. Whatever. Jake was a bit scared to fight at a bigger weight because Rahman's an actual boxer. Understandable. Cool. Whatever. If he's not going to drop down the weight, you're not going to fight him that weight. Cool. That's what the weight sort of thing is there for. So I saw it rumoured around a bit that if he had beaten Rahman, he would have been put onto the actual ranking system in boxing.
Jeez.
Whether that's true or not is a completely different subject, but that was rumoured. And when saying like that's rumoured, you sort of go, okay, so he's got to be taken seriously. Yes, he's not.
But do you think that's because of his professional fights? So yeah, first actual boxer who's in the system, which can get him into that system.
Yeah. I think that's what it was, because it was a professional fight. You're fighting someone that's in the system, who's I think was 12 and is 12.
And I guess that's the thing. They're not treating it as an exhibition. No. Like if you think about it, again, last thing we'll roll back to it. But as if you think about it, Logan Paul doing against
Floyd,
So but that was an exhibition.
Yeah.
So because it's classified as that, that's why he would have plus he retired and everything like that. But do you know what I mean?
But how many times is Floyd going to come out of retirement to fight someone else? Like he fought a Japanese 15-year-old like 3 years ago for 50 million, knocked him out in the first. Well, it was a stoppage in the first round. Like Floyd spanks money so quickly that he has to do these fights, like the McGregor fight, like the Logan fight, and he will keep on doing it for the rest of his life. But back to this main card, we've talked Deji and Fousey, but before we go on to the main point of the card, Deji or Fousey?
My gut says Fousey, but I'm going to go Deji. I think he's going to come out and shock us. I think this time, as much as I've been saying he's not going to be that new one, I want to back him. I don't think it'll be a knockout. I think it's going to go the 4 rounds.
You think it's going to go for all rounds?
I think it's going to. The point he's got to prove now is, one, his fitness is there.
Yeah.
2, if he's got that technical boxing ability, then great. But I think his main point to prove is that his fitness is there this time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you'll probably really work on. I think we'll go all the rounds. I think he might just pinch it, but we will see. I'm obviously hoping for a knockout of some form, but
I'm gonna upset a few people. Fousey to win by stoppage in the second.
In the second.
That's
early, man.
Yeah, I'm still scarred from Deji's last couple of fights where he hasn't made it out the first couple of rounds or just has been too poor to do anything. So yeah, I'm going comfortably. Fousey wins that, whether it's by a stoppage, a knockout, or his team throwing the towel. I'm still scarred.
We'll see what you say.
Main card obviously was supposed to be JJ Wasabi. Wasabi's pulled out. See, the other rumour of that was, because I don't know if it's true, but it's the rumour that I've seen floating about, that he actually got knocked out in sparring.
Why?
So there was a rumour floating about on a few people's Twitter, whatever, that he got knocked out in sparring, which gave him the concussion, which means he had to pull out. Because obviously, within that period, you've got to get over it. You've got to be able to. You can't train with a concussion.
No,
you can't.
No,
so, and that's what, like, if that's true, you're sparring with sometimes 16 ounce.
Have they said who it is?
No, it was one of the rumours that he got knocked out in sparring, because some of the rumours were he got knocked out in sparring. Some of them was he got a very hard hit in sparring, which is giving him the concussion. So either one could be true. And then obviously the whole Jake Paul thing, so
which would give him concussion as well. You know,
yeah, just having to listen to that, like, hurts my head. The fact, like, I saw someone sent me his Premier League top 10.
Oh god,
thing.
yeah.
Oh, that hurt. And the way he spells better as well, just BETR.
I know. Have you seen why that is?
No.
He's got his own betting company that he's started.
Fuck
He's
off.
just founded it. He had on his Instagram yesterday. So no, this is released before. No, it's because of all the KSI stuff with him.
Okay,
I saw it on there and I just went to see if he responded, and obviously this is recorded before the fight and when it's first announced and everything, but yeah, he's making his own like betting company basically, and he's
Is
made
he
a video
allowed to
about
do
it.
that as someone who's going to try and be a professional fighter?
I think
Because
there are rules about it, but I think it's as long as you're not involved in it, and
if you're not, so he can't. Because obviously there's the football one where if you're a professional footballer, I think it's down to like the 9th tier of English football, because I've heard Spencer FC speak about it. You can't bet on football games. If you play, if you work for the club, if whatever,
yeah, you
cannot
can't
bet.
because you kind of inside information. So, and this is the thing, it depends, because let's be honest, at his level, what he's doing, he's not going to have inside knowledge on those big fights, is he? Like,
yeah, that's true. It's true.
so he'll still have the ability to and stuff like that, but I don't think as well, he's an idiot, but I don't think he's business stupid at times as well. He's not going to ruin his reputation. And but yeah, that's the whole better thing. He's even got it tattooed on his leg now. So yeah, you'll need to watch that on his YouTube or his Instagram.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, where were we?
Just saying about why it was to bring.
Yes. So he apparently got knocked out in sparring. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. But it's not like it hasn't happened before. Fousey did it.
Exactly. So.
Right, and you're talking 16-ish ounce gloves, head guards in sparring. So if you get knocked out with that, you're gonna get a bit worried going into like an actual.
Yeah, 100%.
And as I said, I don't think he looked ready in that face to face.
No.
But let's go on to who is actually now taking his place. Swarmz, rapper.
Literally, when I first heard Swarmz, I was like, "Who is this?" Like,
I knew that was a song together.
Yeah, I completely forgot he was on that song, and it was only when I saw him rapping along to it, saying he was singing the chorus of Houdini.
Yeah.
It's like KSI, poop like Houdini, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like really mixed. And I just saw him just chatting rubbish to his mates basically about it. But it's apparently, from what I've seen, is he's been training in the background.
Yes.
Because just in case. Yeah.
So basically, for the people that don't know, there was a clause in the contract where if Wasabi pulled out for any reason, Swarmz would be called up to be the fighter. This is why a lot of people have said that JJ is ducking Jake Paul because they didn't know about the clause in the contract. Because Jake did this whole fucking like, fight me, I'll fight you for free, whatever sort of bollocks, to get the fight. And as JJ said, they can't break a contract ruling, otherwise it's all null and void basically. And
plus, to be honest, it comes across like he's ducking, but he's got a very valid point of making a massive event. Like,
yeah,
I'm not being funny. Is you got Wembley. Even if it wasn't in the UK, any massive stadium, people are going to flock to it.
People will pay as well. People will pay, and yeah. So going back onto that, so the whole reason apparently that there is this sort of like beef between JJ and Swarmz was they made a song together, Houdini. When I went to the
wasn't it? They made that song.
Yeah, they made that song.
They didn't
and
talk or anything
Swarmz
like that.
was supposed to turn up to the London show that I went to and I vlogged.
Mm-hmm.
He no-showed the event after promising he would be there, and there was apparently a meeting that him and JJ were supposed to have, and Swarmz turned up like over 3 hours late, just showed no respect, and JJ, being JJ, was like, well, paid you for what you've done, I was going to pay, like, you were supposed to turn up to this event, we made a song together, I thought we were like, tight, whatever, and that's where the beef come from. So now the fight's obviously there's clearly a tension there, so they're going to fight. We've seen JJ fight before, we know he's a dog. This is one of them. I was going to put £100 bet for JJ to knock Wasabi out within 3 rounds.
Now, what do you think against someone who's never had a professional fight like that as well?
I still think it will end within 3 rounds because JJ wants to prove to everyone that he has changed from the swinger as a fighter.
That would have been a silly bet if it was against Wasabi, because he said he was going to take Wasabi the whole.
He said no, because if you...
he said he was going to make him suffer. I want to take him to the very end and then knock him out.
But I just think Wasabi's team would have thrown in the towel in the third round when Wasabi's not throwing a punch. But yeah, like, I'll happily put my money where my mouth is. I'll bet on JJ to win again because don't know what Swarmz is like as a fighter. We've seen JJ fight. JJ said with the Wasabi thing, I want to take it a few rounds to show people that I've changed as a fighter, that I'm not just a swinger that's just going to run after people and chase people and swing as he said, just do this the whole time, which is what he did against Logan for the second fight. And he said he wanted to show people that he changed. So I can still see him keeping him there for a couple of rounds and then finish him in the third or fourth. It will be interesting to see what Swarmz is like as a fighter because I've seen no footage.
I don't think anyone's seen footage of that really.
No. But the fact he's been training this whole time in the background for a potential fight.
Yeah, and he must be.
And he must be confident to take the fight.
Yeah. There's part of him which should have, if he hasn't done, he's an idiot, but he should have taken it seriously in the background.
Yeah.
Because even if it's not the potential of that, there's a potential of what could happen from there as well. Because, I'm not being funny, there would have been some sort of an agreement between them that if the fight didn't happen, something else would happen on the back of it. Instead of making him train for how many months in the background.
JJ would have just paid him off for going, look,
exactly,
whatever. Yeah, but it's one of those. It's annoying that
it's lost its hype a bit because of it.
Yeah.
And obviously,
and JJ's offered full refunds for people that don't want to go or don't want to buy the pay-per-views, which I understand.
Fair enough. I think the rest of the card is still good.
Yeah.
The thing is, you were fighting for the Wasabi, but of all the people who could have been fighting, I think even when he announced the Wasabi fight,
everyone went
a bit underwhelming, wasn't it? Like you expected a bigger name or he's a big YouTuber, don't get me wrong, but he got brought back out and started doing YouTube stuff because of Deji a bit. And it was kind of like, well, yes, he's beating your brother, but what's that going to do for him? But again, he said it was always his warm up. He wants to showcase his skills.
The ring rust off.
Yeah, and that's what this one now. The only added pressure is he should win from everyone's thoughts now.
The pressure was on him with Wasabi anyway. The pressure is even more on him now.
Yeah,
he has to win and he has to look good winning because he's now. Him and Jake have been going back and forth on Twitter. They've apparently they have verbally agreed to fight. Winner takes the whole purse, sort of thing, whatever. which I don't think Jake will agree to. When it comes to contracts, I don't think Jake will agree to it.
Yeah, it
Because
depends.
Jake will want to be paid for promoting it.
100%, but I also think sponsorships, they can make a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not being funny. I think at the end of the day, everyone wants to see it. I think it's getting to the point of them where they both want to showcase that. If they don't care about the money, they want to actually just have it out, basically.
I still think JJ wins. I think JJ can take that fight.
Do you know what
now
they'll
and
do?
JJ beats him.
I reckon if they do that, they'll do a rematch clause in contract, whichever side, and that's
Bit
where they
like
get
the Logan.
and
sort
that's
of
where
situation.
if you do a 100% to one fighter, the next one then they'll do those splits, hoping to get even more money off of it.
But yeah, I think JJ could have taken that fight this week and beaten him.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I saw someone on YouTube earlier actually, and they were saying about how he's been saying how he's not been in camp. He's only got X amount of days.
Taken
He's
6
6 days. But if you think about it, he was supposed to be having his fight
last week.
Yeah. So it's not going to be difficult for him to get back into routine, get his team together and stuff like that. It wouldn't have been difficult for him to do it, but I think like we said, there's a clause in there. There's a reason why he's fighting Swarmz, just in case anything like this happens. And you know what? It's still going to be a good show.
Yeah, it's still going to be a good show. It's going to be the first one under Misfits Boxing, which is obviously JJ's boxing promoting company.
And you know he always does everything properly, doesn't he? Never half-hearted, never any sort of shambles of an event like
the amount of shambles we've had of events this year, like McBroom fucking ducking and diving, Gib Bacon fly out to LA or wherever it was to do extra tests just to then fucking call off the fight anyway. Jake couldn't organise a piss on a brewery with either fighter. Yeah, he said Tommy fumbled it, but Tommy kind of did fumble it, but Jake then also refused to fly to England and fight, but then is happy to fly to England to fight JJ. What's that about?
That I still think that would have been a good fight if that.
I think Jake beats Tommy.
Do you think?
Yeah, Jake. The thing is, we've seen Jake fight, and we've obviously seen him fight a couple of times now. His fight's never great, but he's got knockout power. But Tommy doesn't have knockout power.
But Tommy also fights other professional fighters.
Yes.
And therefore can take a swing.
Yes, I know, but he has also, his last couple of fights fought journeymen, and they've almost gone the whole way through. Or one, I think one did go to...
No, I agree on that, but then you're talking about Jake fighting retired people, NBA fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, his portfolio is poor.
Yes, it is.
And older than him, whereas I think Tommy's... he's been training for years.
Plus, I don't think Tommy can handle pressure. Because every time it's come to having this fight and his family go, if you don't win, you're not part of the family, something's gone wrong and the fight's been called.
Yeah. I don't think Jake would have won that. I think that would have been a reality check he needed.
No, I think he would have lost that. I think Jake would have won that, but I think he'd lose against Ram. But either way, but that fucking failed. JJ still kept his event going. I'm going for a third round knockout JJ.
I'm still gonna say I reckon it'll just fourth. I reckon one more round.
Yeah.
He'll showcase something, won't he? He wants to make a show for the people, and either way, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. Well, the fight is only in a couple of days. Let me let me and Tom know what you lot think in the comments down below. I'm obviously going to be vlogging the day of going to the fight. I'm going with Luke from Little Red Trolleys Entertainment, his other half, and my other half as well. He's coming with us to watch the fight because Tom can't be there with me, which makes me very sad. But yes, we are going to be there. We might do another video like this after the fights to talk about the fights if you're down.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you guys like this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.